If we have processes waiting for the resources, resource may be memory or processor or I/O devices such as printer, scanner, and so on. If we have processes waiting for the resources, then allocating these resources to the processes in some order by satisfying their needs is called scheduling. If we observe the process state transition diagram, we can find the need of scheduling three times. In the beginning, all the programs to be executed are kept in the secondary memory, but for them to execute, they should be loaded to the main memory. So here we have tasks awaiting to be loaded to the main memory. So these tasks are now waiting for the resource main memory space. So here we need a scheduler, and that scheduler is named long-term scheduler. This is the scheduler who picks up a particular number of processes to be loaded to the main memory for execution. And it is called long-term scheduler because once a decision is taken to load a particular number of processes to the main memory, that decision usually lasts for a long time. So the scheduler need not take decisions very frequently, and hence it is called long-term scheduler. Based on the decision of the long-term scheduler, a particular number of processes move to the ready state in the main memory. Then we have n number of processes in the main memory waiting to be executed. They are in the ready state and they are waiting to be executed. So these ready processes are waiting for the resource processor. Here we have a single processor and we can allocate the processor to only one of these ready processes at a time. So among the set of ready processes, to which ready process the processor to be allocated next, that decision is taken by a scheduler, and that scheduler is called short-term scheduler. This is the scheduler which selects one of the ready processes to be executed next and to which the processor will be allocated. And it is called short-term scheduler because here the decision has to be taken very frequently. Suppose one process moved from ready state to running state based on the decision of the short-term scheduler. Very soon that process may encounter some I/O request and can move to the block state. So the scheduler should take the decision again very soon. Again, the next process while running, suppose another higher priority process arrived. So this process has to be moved from the running state to the ready state, and the scheduler need to take the decision very soon. So here the decisions are to be taken very frequently. Once a decision is taken, it lasts for usually a very short time span, and hence it is called short-term scheduler. Based on the decision of the short-term scheduler, one of the ready processes move from the ready state to the running state. Finally, suppose the main memory space is completely occupied and we have got a high priority process in the secondary memory waiting to be loaded to the main memory. Now, in order to load the high priority process, one among the processes in the main memory should be swapped out and kept in the secondary memory. We should suspend one process. So, among the many processes residing in the main memory, which process should be swapped out? To take that decision, here we need a scheduler, and that scheduler is called medium-term scheduler. This scheduler will decide which process in the main memory should be suspended or should be swapped out and kept in the secondary memory. And it is called medium-term scheduler because here we cannot say that the decision has to be taken very frequently. Also, we cannot say that once a decision is taken, it lasts for a long time. So it is termed medium-term scheduler. Based on the decision of the medium-term scheduler, one process from the main memory moves to the suspended state. The long-term scheduler is also called job scheduler or admission scheduler. Short-term scheduler is also called CPU scheduler, and medium-term scheduler is also called swapping scheduler. So scheduling task is an important part of the process management task of operating system, and the aim of operating system is always to improve the efficiency and performance. And here the performance of all these schedulers have a great impact on the overall performance of the system. For example, consider the long-term scheduler. Usually a process execution time is a mix of CPU execution time and IO execution time. Usually a process executes some computations, make use of processor for some time, then it may go for performing some IO request, then again some computation, then again some IO operation and so on. So every process execution can be considered as a mix of CPU execution time and IO execution time. And for some processes, the CPU execution time will be very high. If a process is having lots of CPU execution time, then we can say it is a CPU bound process. If for a process it has a lot of IO execution time, then we can say it is an IO bound process. So, when a long-term scheduler picks up n number of processes to be loaded to the main memory, if all these n processes are IO bound processes, then what happens? All these processes move from their running state to the block state. All of them will be waiting in the block state. The CPU will not be utilized. CPU utilization will be very less. Else, if this scheduler picks up n number of processes where all the processes are CPU bound processes, then what happens? All the n processes keep on waiting for the processor. None of them make use of the IO devices. The IO devices will be idle. Here also there is an unbalanced state. So for an optimum performance, the long-term scheduler should pick up a mix of CPU bound processes and IO bound processes. Also, this is the scheduler who decides or who controls the degree of multi-programming. It decides how many processes that can be concurrently executed by keeping them together in the main memory. It decides whether a process to be admitted to the ready state in the main memory or not. So that decision should be taken properly by considering the resources such as main memory space. Then short-term scheduler is the scheduler who decides which process to be executed next. So this is the scheduler who decides from which process to which process the context to be switched. There are a variety of algorithms available based on which the scheduler can pick up the next process to be executed, and these algorithms are focusing on various parameters. Different algorithms focus on different parameters. In addition to all these parameters, the short-term scheduler should also consider this context switching time, because context switching time is actually an overhead. So for an optimum performance, the CPU scheduler or short-term scheduler should consider the context switching time too. Finally, the medium-term scheduler is the one who decides which process to be swapped out and which process to be swapped in. So this scheduler should consider the swapping time too. Then the short-term scheduler or CPU scheduler is associated with a separate module called dispatcher. Dispatcher is the module responsible for context switching. The short-term scheduler just select which process to be executed next. Now the context has to be switched to that process. That context switching is done by a separate module called dispatcher.